this out here. If you remember from my video in Tipperary, I came across an ice house. Here's another one. So this is where they would have stored food. There would have been for the castle, they would have, and the nearby lodge, they would have kept food in here. It's in a cylindrical shape, and it goes right down to the ground. There'll be a small tunnel that'll go out here across the path and into the river, and that's for all the ice to melt, because they'll stock this up with ice, and they'll keep doing that over the winter to keep the food fresh. And then the water drains out, goes out that tunnel back into the river over here. They would have insulated the inside of this building with straw or else reeds from the nearby river. Really cool, hidden. You'd never find this in here, only for it was on the map. Wow, it's just incredible. Really incredible. It's a mixture between just wildness and really well maintained grounds. Like the landscape in here is outstanding because it's very neat and tidy, but so natural. Wow. You have the shamrocks here. Shamrocks are synonymous with Ireland, really. People in modern times would consider them a good luck charm, but in ancient times they were also considered, in a similar way, they were used to ward off evil spirits. Blarney Castle was built 3 times. It was initially erected as a wooden structure in the 10th century, then replaced in the 12th century as a stone structure, and then rebuilt by the King of Munster at the time, Dermot McCarthy, in the 14th century. However, it was also during the 14th century when Queen Elizabeth she reigned over Ireland, and she sent representatives, earls, over to Ireland to negotiate the ownership of the land and the castles. In other words, she wanted the rights and the ownership of all these buildings, including this castle. So she sent the Earl of Leicester over to negotiate with Cormac McCarthy. But what McCarthy did was he kept throwing these big banquets and kept delaying the chat and the conversation, so that anytime the Earl went back with a report to the Queen, there was no developments and no progress, which led the Queen of England to say that, that McCarthy chap, he's just full of old Blarney. But then there's also the question about the Blarney stone. Where did that come from? So during Cormac McCarthy's time here, he happened to save the life of a witch. She was drowning, and he saved her life. So as a thank you, she gave him a stone and she blessed it with the gift of eloquent speech. And basically that meant that McCarthy would have all the charm in the world and the gift of the gab, as they call it. So up the top of this castle, you have all these people queuing to go up and kiss this stone, and that apparently gives whoever kisses it the gift of eloquent speech. It's quite amazing, really. The castle's built on top of an 8-metre high cliff, and then up here you can see, this is what separates it from most castles in Ireland. There's the protruding through the rock here, and the side of the north face of the castle is the bedchamber for the lord that lived here. This here was the dungeon on the bottom level, and just beside it was the guardhouse for the sentry, and a little dog kennel cut into the wall too. This here is known as the battlements. This is where all the guards would have been able to throw objects off the roof, so they'd be able to drop down tar or boiling water at anyone that was trying to scale the walls. And the buildings, you'd have to look really closely to notice this. They're at a slant, a slight slant, so it means that anything that's dropped off will likely, if it hits off the wall, it'll bounce in the direction of whoever's trying to attack the castle. They call this the Witch's Stone. They say that the Witch of Blarney is trapped inside it, and she only comes out after dark. On the top here you can see people have left peace offerings. An apple, some coins. Anything for a good night's sleep, right? It's amazing to think of the history that's here. These standing stones have been here for hundreds of years. As too has Blarney Castle. And the druid stones and all the different relics I've been looking at today. At the same time, these oak trees and these yew trees, they've been here a lot longer than that. That's what interests me more.